Welcome in, Bears fans, to another episode of The Latest. I'm Brandon. This is being recorded on Wednesday, June the 4th, so you'll most likely hear this probably on Thursday the 5th. I want to start off today by continuing to address trade rumors that have been out there recently. We've been discussing a lot of possible trade targets in the running back room because a lot of people are still not satisfied with where the room is at right now. But one rumor that's been floated out there has been Breece Hall of the Jets. Has been a pretty solid back for them going into the final year of his contract. So the asking price could potentially be high. Probably just as high as up there as like what James Cook is that we discussed. I'm not completely sure. I know Breece is he's had some injuries here and there, and I know he's not happy in up with the Jets right now, even with the coaching change and everything. It sounds like he's ready for some greener pastures. I would like to see what the trade package would look like. I have a feeling that probably just by reading between the lines, it sounds like the Jets are probably looking for like a second or a third round pick. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Those picks are it's too high up for that kind of position, especially now that running back is being utilized differently, and you've got more players that are coming back out as running backs. I think that you're going to each year have a decent crop of them. So investing or by flipping a higher draft pick for somebody who has wear and tear, I'm not here for it. If that was the case, I'd rather just go ahead and sign Nick Chubb and be done with it. But I will say, when Breece Hall came into the league, I was very enamored with his speed and intensity. I mean, a very quick runner, very explosive. Kind of reminded me a lot of when we used to have Tyreek Cohen on the Bears. But Breece Hall has held up better, and I think the talent level is definitely higher, but just watching those bursts there just kind of reminded me of the days that we had Tariq Cohen. So, what are your thoughts on Breece? Do you think Breece would be a good fit here with the Bears? What kind of package would it look like if we were looking to acquire him? Will we try to flip maybe like a DeAndre Swift to kind of lessen the blow on the draft package that would be offered? What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts. What do you think on Breece Hall? So we're gonna go from Breece Hall to Jaquan Brisker. So Brisker is back out on the field. He is looking like his old self. He's already come out and said that he's going to continue to play the game the same way he has been playing, which, if you've been keeping score at home, this guy has a hard time staying on the field. He's had concussion issues because of the way that he plays, his intensity, throwing his body out and around and all that. Um, I'm concerned about that, 'cause I know he's going into the final year of his deal and everything. And, this is one of Ryan Poles' very first draft picks to go along with Kyler Gordon there in that second round. Back there, I believe that was what, 2022, 21, somewhere right around in there. And he's when he's on the field, he is a difference maker. He really is. But he has come out and declared himself ready for the season. He says he's ready to bounce back. He's ready to show the league what he's made of. But my question to you guys is this: what if something happens to Brisker again? Because nothing is guaranteed. And you always want to make sure you have good depth. And I think we've kind of touched on this in previous episodes, but I think safety is another area where we need to look at fortifying the position. And I'm looking at the free agent possibilities out there. I know a lot of people have talked about Justin Blackman from the Colts, and he's been a pretty good player in the past, but keep in mind he's played in a Matt Eberflus system because he was one of Eberflus's guys before the Flus came to Chicago. But he's also, after the Flus left, he played in a very similar defense. And so I wonder if, even though he's a younger guy, I wonder if that really makes sense, especially if he's not a scheme fit. Maybe that's a guy that Dennis Allen isn't really high on, and he may fetch a decent amount of money. But I don't know. Some people think that he would be a good fit. I know Clay Harbor, former tight end from the Eagles and follows a lot of Chicago Bears sports, has mentioned him as a possibility. I am looking at the free agency list, like Jordan Whitehead from Tampa Bay. Used to play for Tampa Bay, played for the Jets. There's a guy that's, I think, like 28, and he played on the Super Bowl team for the Bucks back in 2020. He's a very strong player, and he could potentially be a good fit. But then the question is, do you really want to allocate the financial resources there when you might have two other strong possibilities that might be coming up? And that's Tasheem Johnson, the undrafted free agent out of Oregon. And then you've got Major Burns, out of LSU, also an undrafted free agent. We've touched on those guys, especially after draft weekend. We had touched on that. And these guys, it sounds like during rookie camp and just kind of getting into OTAs, it sounds like they've been making some waves. Players, current Bears players that are working right alongside him have been impressed. Coaching staff has been high on him. It sounds like one or both of these guys have a legitimate shot of making the team. Because if you look right now, you've got Kevin Byard and Brisker as your potential starters. Also rotating in probably a Jonathan Owens. Unless both of these guys outplay Owens and any of the other guys we have out there at safety, you could be looking at some cap casualties, because we've got guys here that we can put in there that are cheaper, much more athletic, and can get the job done, and are going to set the tone for this new defense moving forward, as we continue to build and enhance the culture and get stronger depth. I think one of these guys, Johnson or Burns, are legitimate. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on them this summer. So, what are your thoughts on Brisker? Do you think he's got a bounce back campaign up his sleeve? Do you think he's going to come back out and make a big difference? Is he going to be out there kicking butt and taking names like what Mike Brown used to during the early 2000s for the Bears? Or is he going to be more like Craig Stelz? And if you know who Craig Stelz is, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Stelzy was all right, but he was also a liability quite a bit of the time. But anyways, what are your thoughts? Do you think that he's primed for a huge 2025, or do we need to start looking for his future successor or successors? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. So we go from safety. We're going to stay back there in the secondary, and we're going to talk about what's going on at corner, and mainly, in particular, Tyreek Stevenson, because Stevenson came out in a presser in the last day or two talking about his bounce back into 2025, what he wants to do differently. Is he recovered from the Fail Mary? Basically his downfall in Washington, which that play alone right there completely changed the way the Bears season played out. And if you followed the Bears closely last year, when they lost that heartbreaker on that Hail Mary, we went on the longest losing streak known to man. And then finally Green Bay came in and we were able to get a win. But you could look right there and see after that play that the entire face of the franchise, the direction, everything just completely went crazy. And coaches are getting fired and players are getting benched, and there's drama in the locker room. So Stevenson's already come out and said that he's putting it behind him. He's ready for a great season ahead. He's excited about what the team is looking like, and he says he's ready to go. I am not so convinced. I'm going to be honest with you. When we drafted Tyreek Stevenson, I scratched my head like, why the hell are we drafting another cornerback in the second round? Uh, we already have good cornerbacks, and the raw talent is there. The problem is that it's not consistent. And you're playing a position where you need to be consistent, especially if it's being asked that you are a shutdown, lockdown corner, or you're supposed to be keeping up with the guy you're guarding step by step. And I feel like it came in pockets and bursts of consistency and then a bunch of inconsistency and then lather, rinse, repeat. I'm not sold on Tyreek Stevenson. I know he's young. He's still under, rookie contract and everything. I don't know how in the world you can blow that Hail Mary last year and talk trash to the fans, talk trash to other players, and you're getting burnt by Noah Brown for that touchdown. Pathetic. I'm not over it. I am so not over it. You've had immature instances the year prior where he got in fights with other players and was punching and slapping and all this. We have no time for that. You're giving up plays because you're acting like a child and you want to be able to one up the other guy. I'm not very, very, very high on him right now. And part of me is really hoping that Zay Frazier, the 5th-round corner that we got from UTSA, I'm hoping he comes in and gives Tyreek a run for his money because Al Harris is high on him and fought like hell to get him drafted. And this guy is looking like he is going to be a ball hawking corner. And I would love to see him go in there and make an impact. Now, okay, let's say he doesn't make the impact quite yet, but he's growing. He's going to eventually grow into the position. But let's say we're still not set with Tyreek. Tyreek is having a bad camp. It's just not cutting the mustard. Well, who would we look at then? Well, looking at the free agent options, I've got one that makes a lot of sense, and I think that this guy would definitely be a great number 2 to Jalen Johnson. And he's in his early 30s. He's been a reliable corner for years, and seeing him sign with a contender like Chicago, especially if both him and the team are both interested, if it's mutual, Stephon Gilmore has bounced around a little bit lately, but everywhere he's gone, he's been super productive. I mean, most recently with the Vikings, and then before that was with Cowboys for a little bit. I think that Gilmore would make a great number 2, especially if you know that as you're getting into camp and you're really seeing things evolve and you're seeing the direction of the offense, you may find that we're ahead of schedule. And if we are, because I'm looking at the NFL schedule for us, which we'll kind of touch on here in a moment, there is a legitimate chance that we could win anywhere between 9 or 10 games, talking wild card, or maybe even the NFC North and getting the clinching the North. I mean, that's a possibility too. And I think a guy like Gilmore, along with the veteran leadership that's going on in the secondary, I think it'd be a great signing. If it's mutual, and maybe this is another way to put your foot up Tyreek Stevenson's ass and say, "Look, dude, we're clean slating, but we haven't forgotten. Okay, we haven't forgotten. We'll forgive. We haven't forgotten, and you're going to need to show up. And if not, this is what's going to happen." Or maybe Gilmore will come in and, along with Al Harris and company, help mentor and lift him up, and maybe help him take the next step and solidify himself further. So I don't know. Is there another corner that you see out there? I know we got guys like Mike Hilton and company that are still out there, but I thought Gilmore was a solid fit. And the only thing I really see is age, with him being a little bit older, but it looks like he's pretty well conditioned. He's taken care of himself, and he's been successful in this back half of his career. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And then today we're going to wrap up with the NFC North and the odds of the Bears winning the North. And the reason why I came to this is that for those who have been keeping track for the last couple of days of what's been going on, um, Frank Ragnow abruptly retired from the Lions. Hasn't even hit 30 yet. And their Pro Bowl center, the guy that has been the anchor the last 2, 3 seasons on the line for Ben Johnson's offensive unit up there in Detroit, for Dan Campbell and company, to just up and retire, that is a huge, glaring hole on their line. And we already kind of assume that this is a team that is going to potentially take a step back next year because of the significant changes in personnel on the coaching side of things, and also, a few things here and there with player personnel. But it got me thinking, like, how are the Bears looking going into 2025 against their arch rivals? And right now, I'll just go ahead and stick with Detroit right now, because we get them week 2, which I thought was way soon. I didn't think that was going to happen right off the bat, but we're talking week 2 up in Detroit. It's a Sunday afternoon game, and I think that the Bears, until you can beat the best, you're gonna have to really, before we can just anoint you that you're going to beat them. So I honestly, between week 2 and then their last game is with them on week 18, I think Detroit is going to win well in week 2. I think that the Bears are still looking to get it together and everything. However, I feel like their defensive line is going to have a lot more success against the Lions, especially when you've got Frank Ragnow retiring. Some people said it's because of health. Some people said because of contract length and amounts. Doesn't matter. He's gone. And Tate Ratledge, the rookie out of Georgia, is going to be stepping in there and learning the position, it sounds like. So to me, I feel like week 2, while will be improved, I don't think it's going to be there yet. But I see that this team is going to continue to grow and improve and gel as the season goes on. And when they have them during week 18, right now it is to be determined. I would not be surprised if this is a Sunday night or a Monday night game. I can see them flexing into one of those slots there. Especially to end the season, especially if we're talking that if the NFC North is going to be knocked down, drag out, like a lot of folks are predicting, the division could come down to the last game. And it could be between the Bears and the Lions, or it could be the Bears playing an upset, a spoiler to Detroit, and Minnesota ends up winning or something. We don't even know the scenario. There's a ton of scenarios there, but I cannot wait to see what our team looks like from week 2 facing them to the end of the season. Or are we going to have a strong enough record where we're able to rest guys and maybe week 18 is a wash? I don't know. But for right now, my gut says we're going to split the 2 games with them. Now, the question is, who do we have week 1? And this is where I want to go next, is I want to talk about the Vikings, because there's rumors that are coming out about them not really wanting to re-sign Sam Darnold. There's like some people that are saying he didn't want to be re-signed. There's some people that are saying that they wanted to keep him there and continue to mentor and build up JJ McCarthy. But it sounds like there's some dissension going on there in Viking land. Because, JJ McCarthy only played during the preseason, and while the early results, and it was the preseason, showed that it was looking positive, I feel like McCarthy is going to have a tricky second year. Basically, he goes redshirted, and now he's going to finally get to have a season to play. I would like to see the Bears get him there and really pressure him, because I think a guy like JJ McCarthy needs to be pressured. You're going to need to find ways to be exotic and put the pressure on him to make you know to make the mistakes. And the thing is when he was with Michigan, dude was pretty damn good, especially under pressure. So, but his game may translate differently to the NFL. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and be bold, and I'm going to go ahead and put the Bears sweeping them. I think they're going to go 2-0 on that. They don't play Minnesota again until a little bit later, but yeah, they open the season up week 1, and that's actually a Monday Night Football game too. So we're already going to start the season off with the prime time there that Monday night. And it's interesting because we're starting the first 2 games of the season off with division opponents. It felt like last year we didn't get a division opponent until like halfway through the year. So I do like that we're going to be able to see these guys early on and see where things go. And then I was looking at the bye week. I like the fact that the bye week this year is week 5. Holy wow. Thank you. Because it's been so difficult waiting until near the end of the season to try to get some rest, and injuries totally kicked our butts last year. And so to get that bye week 5, and then to turn around week 6. It looks like week 6 we have a Monday Night Football game. I don't have the team right in front of me at the moment, but you can look it up. That's all fine and dandy. But that's going to give us an extra day of rest right there. And then something that was interesting here was, and I know this is not our division opponent, but we'll talk about them getting another primetime game around Thanksgiving, and it's not against the Lions. So we'll talk about that in a second. But to kind of finish up here with the Vikings, Lions, we talked about Vikings are going to get swept. Green Bay. Now, Green Bay, that I for sure I see that we have a Week 16 matchup with them, and it hasn't been determined when that game is going to be. I could totally see that, depending on how the season plays out for both teams. I could totally see that being a Sunday night game. Totally. I think it's going to most likely happen. It seems like every year we always get Bears Packers on a primetime game, and I think that is going to happen here. I think this gives the NFL the perfect excuse to flex them into that. I think Green Bay is interesting. I could totally see a sweeping Green Bay, but I think a lot of it is going to be. I think a lot of it's going to be dependent on how the Bears defense can handle Green Bay, because Green Bay has retooled. They've gotten better offensively. They've made some nice selections. You've got a great running back room there with Aaron Jones and company. Or no, excuse me, not Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs. Regardless, their tight end room is good. The line, I think they've retooled it to where it's a little bit stronger, but I could definitely see us sweeping them. One game is going to be close. I think probably that week 16, I think will be a statement game for the Bears. I can see them coming out and kicking the crap out of them. But you know what? I'm drinking Kool-Aid right now. What the hell? Let's just go ahead and say it. I think the Packers are going to get swept by the Bears. I've got the Vikings getting swept, and I think Detroit, we go 1-1. And I think that we do come close. If not, we are going to be over the hump to winning the NFC North. I was also going to mention here, since we're talking primetime games, I'm interested to see what happens on Black Friday. Now that you've seen Amazon come out and they do their Black Friday broadcasts and everything now, the Eagles and the Bears have it week 13. I'm intrigued by that. Do I think we're going to win? Maybe, but I could also see us getting the crap kicked out of us too. I don't know. I think it just depends on how we're doing. If we're gelling, I think we have a really good chance. If we're not being consistent and we've got some moments where we're losing games that we shouldn't lose and things, I could totally see it being a loss. Well, never know. And then I think I also saw here we have the 49ers Week 17. Looking at Sunday Night Football right there. So there's some really good primetime opportunities for the Bears. At least 4 or 5 for sure, maybe even more. What do you guys think about the upcoming schedule? Are there any games in particular that stick out that you're really looking forward to? Leave a comment below. Guys, I know that we kind of went in the weeds on this a little bit, but it's the off season. We've got to do this stuff. Leave your thoughts below, comments. Let me know what you're thinking, and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends, especially if they're diehard Bears fans. Duh, let them know. And if they're not, they should be. Let them know about what we're doing over here, and we'll get back to you guys tomorrow. So without further ado, bear down. See ya.